Thanks for watching the video today. Subscribe, like. So I'm going to show you how we go from this to that very quickly. What we're going to show you is how I attack this dent and use glue tabs to remove a huge portion of the damage, and then that way I can fine tune it with either my sharp tools or smaller glue tabs. As you can see, there's a little crease on the outside edge of this dent, and there's a crease in the middle of the dent as well. Just pointing those two out. And if I look at a different angle from a bottom perspective, you'll notice that there's a crown on the outside of the edge of this dent. We're going to have to release that pressure of the crown to help get the low of the dent up. And I'm going to show you how I do that with two square LaKa tabs. As you can see, I took the tail light out to show you there's no access at all. You can drill a hole in there if you want to, but I'm not going to go that route. I'm actually going to use glue tabs. As you can see, there's a line from the light bulb fixture that goes on the outside edge of that dent where the tab is, or where the crown is on the dent. And I'm going to show you how that releases the crown, and once I pull the center up, and you'll see that line where the curve is, it'll become straight. So what I use here is denatured alcohol to clean the panel off, and then I'll follow it up with a torch to clean any moisture or humidity off that panel, because glue doesn't like to stick to humidity or moisture. So what I do here is I'm fitting a tab to see what's going to work best. Crease tab doesn't work very well, so I'm going to go with these two. Yep, boom, two square LaKa tabs. So I zap the panel real quick with a torch to clean the humidity. You can see the humidity going away, and I also hit the tab to clean any moisture off that tab as well. So I'm going to use some green slime glue, new glue I'm trying out. It's working pretty well for me. Actually, I'm using the triangle tabs, the large ones. And I'm going to place two of them, one on each end of that dent in the crease. So the panel is still going to be pretty warm, which works well for this glue. But I'm going to let the glue sit up a little bit longer than I normally would, because I know the panel's hot. So I'm going to take my blending hammer, and I'm going to just gently tap, just barely tap this crown, just to kind of release any pressure that may be there, if any. And you can watch that line, that white line right around the edge of my hammer. You're going to see that move and become straight once I put the slide hammer on this. I would use a mini lifter, but I want to use a slide hammer so I can shock the panel. I don't pull super hard. I'm barely pumping it, and you can see that line is straight. So I got a major portion of that dent up just by doing that number right there. And it's going to make my cleanup work a lot easier. So I'm using a rubber tip here on this blending hammer. It's soft, so that way it doesn't put little dimples in the panel, and it moves a lot more of the metal while I'm tapping down. And so what I'm doing is I'm going along that crease that I showed you at the beginning of the video to release any pressure there, which as you're tapping on that crease, you're lifting the bottom of the dent up as well. So it's doing two things at once. So once I release that crease a little bit, I'm going to cross check it, go from a different angle, and I can see the crown a lot better, much better. So I'm going to work it and finesse it. I have a flat tip and I have a round ball tip, and depending on the type of high spot I'm going to hit, I'll flip it back and forth. But what I'm doing here is just hitting the crowns, any high spots, trying to tap those down the best I can without creating dimples in it. So once I do that, I'll take my slide hammer again, and I'll get a few more pulls out of this to bring the bottom up. I'm not pulling hard at all. I'm letting the slide hammer, the actual sliding hammer, do the work. So what I do once I'm hitting it with a torch again, that way it heats the glue back up so it's not brittle and hard. So that way it'll be easy to release off the panel, and I won't be fighting to get the glue tabs or the glue off the panel. It'll be one solid piece, just like that. You know, sometimes you'll try to pull glue off and it breaks into pieces. Heat it up, and it'll come off real easily. So let's take a look and see what it looks like I got a ton of that dent out. And then I'll just clean that up with smaller diameter tabs, like 10 millimeter gangrene tabs, and some black ice or some dead center tabs, the little super tiny dead center tabs. And that's the propane torch I bought. You can get it from Lowe's or Home Depot. And this is what it looks like after I've cleaned it up quite a bit with the smaller tabs. You can still see little high spots and low spots. And I'm going to tap those down and clean it up. It's going to be beautiful. But yeah, I mean, less than, I think it was like 30 minutes total on this repair. Very quick, because you do the right things at the beginning. You can clean it up and it'll be a perfect repair if you do the right things at the beginning. Thanks for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel. And as always, guys, have a nice day.